Okay, hello everybody. How's everyone doing this Sunday evening? We're going to give some people a chance to hop on here and then I will get started. So let me know how y'all are doing. If you are excited to hear more about Inside the Art Studio, I'm excited to share with you. Hey, Christina. Hey, Pauline and Deb. And if you are an alumni and you've done this masterclass with me before, be sure to drop that in the comments. You can also let me know if you have already joined from enrollment opening today. So before we just jump in and get started, for those of you that may be new to the Social Easel and new to me, I thought I would just share a quick little bit about myself before we get into it, so you know who you're learning from. So my name is Christy Hawkins, and I am the founder of the Social Easel, and I started it 13 years ago. So back in 2013, when my daughter Kylie turned 10, we did a paint party for her birthday, and when the moms came, they were like, "That's crazy. You taught our kids how to paint. You should do that for us." And honestly, that was the beginning of the Social Easel. Those moms became my guinea pigs and were my test subjects to see if I could teach them how to paint. And it worked. And from there, I started teaching local paint nights, and I was doing birthday parties and mommy and me events. And it just kept growing and growing until we were selling out every paint night in Springfield. And I ended up having partnerships with some of our favorite restaurants here. And it was just crazy. And I became the best girls' night out for 4 years in a row. And during that time, obviously, I have, well, you don't know that. I have 3 daughters. I've been married to my husband, Corey, for 25 years. We just celebrated our 25th anniversary. And we have 3 beautiful girls. And so they were growing up and things were getting crazy, and schedule wise, with me doing paint nights and being gone, and then their busy schedules. And that was when I started transitioning to teaching online. So we moved online in 2018, and I've been doing it ever since. So I no longer do in-person paint nights. I teach through 2 memberships throughout the year, either Painting of the Month Club. If you're a Painting of the Month Club member, say hi, or my tribe, which is my VIP membership. And we've got some tribe sisters in here. And then 2 years ago, for the first time, I introduced this masterclass. And the original idea behind the masterclass was to teach you how to do originals. I used florals as my subject matter because if you have followed me for any time at all, you probably know I love painting flowers. So that seemed super natural to me. And the reason I even started the masterclass was because I kept having women over the years just keep coming to me and saying, like, I love doing your tutorials, but like how, like, even though I've been painting for years and following along, like I still don't feel confident enough to create my own artwork. Like, how do I do that? And obviously that's a bigger a bigger question than a 1-sentence answer, right? And so it really got me thinking, how could I share all the knowledge that I have gained as an artist? I have been an artist my entire life, but throughout high school, did art classes, and then went to college to get an art degree. And long story short of that, I won't get into the crazy details of it, but I was only in college during that time, right after high school, for a couple years, and then left when my husband graduated and we moved to Dallas. And I put that dream of being an artist on hold for a time period. We lived there for 3 years while he became a chiropractor, and then moved to Missouri. And then I had my first daughter, Kylie. And so a lot of that time, I kind of shelved I won't say shelved the creative part of myself because I don't think I can take that out of me, but I didn't paint and I didn't create the way that I once had. And then in my 30s, I decided to go back to school to finish my art degree and majored in graphic design. That was the direction I was going because at the time, I thought there's no like how in this like day and age, like how do you like make money being an artist? Like how do you make money painting? That didn't seem possible or feasible to me. And so I thought the only way I can bring creativity back into my life is to be a graphic designer, which I do love also, but not as much as I love painting. And I was a year away from finishing my degree when guess what? I quit. I quit school, quit college for the second time. And at the time, I had started the social easel. So those things overlapped. And I was having so much fun teaching the paint parties. And I really felt like God was just telling me directly, very directly, this is the path that I want you to take. And so I came to my husband who was like, what are you talking about? You are not going to quit school again. And I was like, no, I don't think of it as quitting. I think of it as number one, taking direction from God talking to me directly. And this is actually bringing our family money. It's fulfilling a dream of mine to get to paint again. To me, that's a win-win instead of continuing to go into debt to get a college degree that is just a piece of paper to tell me I'm an artist, even though I am an artist. You know what I mean? Can anyone relate to that? And so I did quit school and I put all my eggs in this basket of the social easel. And the reason I'm telling you that is one, so you know a little bit about my history, but also so you can see the journey that I have been on. It was not a straight path. I don't think for most of us, finding our dream and following our passion usually is a straight path. There may be a lucky few of you out there who got it that way. I certainly did not, but I wouldn't change it for anything because it taught me a lot about myself. And it taught me a lot about my faith and trusting Jesus to lead me in that direction. But I learned so much from it. And I learned things obviously in college and the knowledge that I'm giving you guys inside the art studio, that masterclass. A lot of that is coming from my college years in art school, but a lot more of it is coming from 13 years of being a teacher now, 13 years of teaching women how to paint and the struggles that you guys go through. And then for me, it's always, how can I help you? How can I make that better? How can I make the path easier for you? And that ultimately is what led to the creation of this masterclass. So when I started it 2 years ago, it was called a Florals Masterclass, and that was the name of it. And my team and I have been working behind the scenes, honestly, since the beginning of this year, trying to reconfigure how we want this to work and when we were going to offer it again. And it really started sinking in with me that I wasn't just teaching you florals. That happened to be the subject matter that I was using for the masterclass. But so much of what I am teaching is a process, and it's the same process that I use every single time I create a painting. And as I was like restructuring and rethinking this offer to bring the masterclass back for the third time, I realized I needed to change the name of it. I realized it, there was more that I could teach you. We could go more in depth, and I could give you a simple process that you can learn to follow. And you can take my years of experience and knowledge and take what I've learned. Has now been put into modules for you and has now been created in this course. And so I'm really excited about sharing that new vision with you guys and sharing some of the updates that we have done to the masterclass and to hear from you. So I know I've just been glancing over at the comments here. If you are having problems getting to the live stream and maybe you're not seeing me, maybe you can hear me and not see me. If you get out and come back in, that usually fixes it. I apologize for any glitch because we're good. We're live. Everything's working here. So that's always our best piece of advice is jump out, jump back in. It usually fixes it. If that doesn't work, you can try a different browser or something. So I have a question that I would love for you guys to, answer for me here in the comments. How many of you struggle with coming up with ideas to create your own paintings, or maybe you have the ideas, but you don't know how to get those ideas out of your head and on to a canvas? I would love to hear from all of you in the comments, and let me know if that's what brought you here tonight. You came here because you were curious and you're interested in hearing more about it. So that's what I want to share with you tonight. And we've got a lot of me's coming up: Teresa and Lori, Kathy, Katie. So thank you guys for jumping in the comments. Deb said, my head is full of ideas. Carla said, I struggle with getting it down on canvas. And this is usually what people are doing. They're struggling with, how do I get this idea in my head? How do I get this out? How do I get this on that? Right? Like that's what we struggle with. And I'm going to throw some of these up there. Marilyn said, hard to imagine new ideas. Susan said, yes, I have ideas, but I can't get them on to canvas. Let's see. Mary said, ideas in my head, but I don't know how to get them on the canvas. Candace says, I'm usually copying others, which, by the way, is okay. And obviously, I teach through you copying my work. Like all the ones you see behind me, all of those are taught inside of my tribe. So you do learn through copying and you learn technique. But what I found, and which is why there's this extra step, right? Like I have tribe and I teach in there every single month, but it still was not answering the question for those of you saying all these things, right? Like I can follow tutorials and I love them and I learn a lot from them. I still don't know how to take my idea and make it real, right? Pam said, I have too many ideas and need direction on how to eliminate some of them so I can focus on one thing. I hear you. Yay, welcome back, Kim. Kim's back. She's an alumni. And this is a good one, Carol. Thank you for sharing. She said, I'm afraid my idea won't look good. So fear is a big thing that stops a lot of us. Christine said, getting started, take the time to move forward. Lori said, always a struggle, never sure I'm choosing something that will look good on canvas. Let's see. She said, I thought maybe painting from photographs from travels is a good idea. Struggle to get it on canvas. It is a great idea. But again, if you don't have the process and you don't have the knowledge of steps to make that a reality, that's a lot harder, right? So wrong side, because this mirrors. This is one from one of my vacations when we went to Mykonos, and I just taught this last week in Tribe. So this painting was inspired by a photograph. So it is definitely not just about learning florals. I have some florals behind me. I have some animals behind me. I have landscape. And you can see some more of like my vacation paintings down here. This one is from Jamaica. We have one from Lake Tahoe. So I mean, these are all great ideas, right? But it helps, right? If you have some kind of structure, some kind of process in order to get those ideas that we have in our head. How do we get them to canvas? How does this whole process work? Lindy said, will there be a tutorial today? There is no tutorial. So that is not what the masterclass is about. It's not me teaching you a painting. It's not me teaching you step by step how to do anything. It's me teaching you a process of how you are going to learn how to take these ideas that you have and turn them into reality, how you're going to take these ideas and turn them into a painted canvas. Kelly said, do you teach acrylics and watercolors or just acrylics? So I teach, I would say 98% acrylics. I do mixed media as well, but that's still with acrylic paint. I do some watercolor now and then, but most of my focus is on acrylic painting. Connie said, how do I get the painting you said you just taught? That is if you are a tribe member. So any new paintings that I do, any of the ones that you see behind me right now, those are, if you are in my tribe, then those are the paintings that you get access to. Okay, so I'm going to keep on. If you guys have questions, you can drop them there, and Megan is going to be starring them for me. And we'll come back to those. So I wanted to kind of introduce myself, get a feel for where you guys are at. And the next thing I'm going to share with you guys is this creative process. If you've already been to the link for Inside the Art Studio, you're going to see all that information there for you. Let me drop that really quick in the comments. Now, again, I'm going to say this on here. If you are a tribe sister, you have your own link. Okay. It was posted in tribe and it was emailed to you. So make sure if you are a tribe sister, you are joining through your specific tribe sister link. Okay. The one that I am posting is the public link. So that is for everyone that is not in tribe. But you guys can click on that if you want to, or you can wait and do it after the live preview. So I'm going to share with you my creative process that we have basically branded around this masterclass. And this is part of the change that we've made. And then I'm really excited because after I share that process with you, I am going to introduce you to 4 amazing women who are behind the scenes right now, waiting to come on here. These women are not only past alumni members from the masterclass, but they have also been in tribe with me for many years. And I'm excited to announce that they are also going to be your mentors. So if you become a part of Inside the Art Studio, these 4 women that you're going to meet will be an integral part of your life and this journey because I'm so excited. They all said yes to being mentors in this group. So we're going to share more about that, about the group, and you're going to get to hear their stories and their, it's good stuff. Okay, so we're going to talk about that. And then after we have the ladies on, I will open it up to live Q&A and kind of give you guys an overview of anything else that you have questions about. So I'm going to pull this slide up really quick. Yay, Miss Teresa. She said, I joined. I signed up for the masterclass. So glad to have you. You are going to be so excited you did. And all my alumni out there, if you are an alumni and you've done a previous year with me, you were also sent a special alumni link. So you have a discounted link if you want to join this session. So really quick, I'm going to throw my process up here on the screen. And we are going to talk through this. I need some water first. And then I'm going to share a little bit more of a breakdown of what you can expect inside. So this is unlike any other program that I do. This is not like my Painting of the Month Club. This is not like Tribe. This is completely different. This is a standalone course meant to be gone through on your own, in your own pace. And so it's got 8 different modules in it. And within each one of those modules are multiple lessons. And within each one of those lessons are multiple sessions. So I want you to think about Inside the Art Studio as kind of like getting to go to art school, except with me and doing it online instead of having to lug all your art supplies back and forth to a college campus every day. Okay, so here is what I'm excited to share with you guys about. I was mentioning it earlier, you know, we started with florals and that's still the way that I'm going to be teaching throughout that course. But here is the process. no matter what idea I come up with, I use this same process every single time. So we're going to start at the top with find. The first thing that you need to do if you want to create your own original paintings is to come up with inspiration, right? Find ideas. So people ask me all the time, well, where do you get your ideas? Like, what are you inspired by? And I always say everywhere. I mean, I am taking pictures all the time, but we're going to break it down into 4 different categories of what I put under gathering inspiration and finding those ideas. So number 1 is directly from your photos. Photos from a vacation, photos of an animal, photos of a floral, whatever it may be, literally, actually, photos. Number 2 is creating your own still life. And this is a fun one. I teach you how to do that inside the course, but that can be maybe, you know, someone got you a beautiful vase of flowers for your birthday or an anniversary and you love them and you're like, I would love to paint these, but I don't know where to start. Take a picture of your still life, and I'm going to teach you how to paint from a still life. The third way is I say from inspiration. And what I mean by that, it's a very general term, but it means like you're maybe inspired by, you were at the mall or you're at Hobby Lobby or Michael's and you see a beautiful painting and you're inspired by it. You don't want to copy it, right? But you're inspired by it and you're like, oh, I love that. Snap a picture of it. On Pinterest, when you're on Pinterest and you're looking at all these beautiful paintings or photos and you're like, oh my gosh, there's so many ideas out there. I'm going to teach you how to take the inspiration in the world around us, whether it be on Pinterest, whether it be in real life. And I'm going to teach you how to take elements from all these different inspired sources and create your own original out of those. And then the fourth way, and this is a new way, I added a new lesson in the course for this. And I know some people are against it, and that's fine if you are. I'm not here to debate anything, but using AI and AI generated images to help you. Now, here's a big thing I'm going to say about using AI when it comes to art. And I'm going to share inside the course, I show you examples of how I use that in my own art. When I ask AI, whatever that may be, it could be ChatGPT, it could be Canva, whatever. There's a lot of different ways you can come up with ideas. You describe something to it, it generates an image for you. I use that as a jumping off point. I am not printing that off and saying, cool, this computer made this for me, and I'm going to copy it exactly as it is, and I'm going to paint it just like that generated image, right? It's used as a jumping off point. It's used to help you take ideas that might be in your head and like put them in an image. And it just basically gives you like a stepping stone. Okay. So that's the beginning of our process, is just finding. And within module 1, we talk about finding, we talk about organizing. We're like, okay, and now we're going to narrow it down, right? Now we're transitioning into the next stage, which is plan. A lot of people don't realize, I never did take that drink of water. A lot of people don't realize that most artists, and I'm not speaking for everyone, I'm sharing my journey and the journey of other artists that I am friends with and know, we don't just sit down in front of an easel and just magically paint. That is not how it works. There is a lot of planning that goes on long before we ever put brush to canvas. And so that next stage is one of the most important stages of the entire process, is the planning stage. You are actually designing your composition before you ever paint it. So this is where you take your cropped images, you take all those ideas that we talked about, you learn how to put them together, you learn how to build a composition, you learn what strong elements are to make a good composition and how to look for those things in your design, and you start making sketches. And no, you don't have to know how to draw to do this. When I talk about sketches, I mean very rough, but it's getting your ideas on paper in your mixed media pad. And you start planning and you start figuring out what you like. You might move things around. This is the planning stage. This is the really like the thought stage. And then we transition. Once you kind of work through those ideas, we're moving on to explore, right? So you found your inspiration, you're planning it, you're designing it, you're working on your composition. And now it's time to start playing around with, what do I want this to look like? What colors do I want to use? How do I know what colors to use? We're going to cover all of that in module 3. There's an entire module just devoted to color, understanding it, learning how to mix it, understanding the color wheel, understanding the emotions behind color and how they impact us. And then you will start learning texture and style. Inside the studio, you're going to start playing with all these different areas. And these are exercises for you to do, for you to start finding your own voice in the process, or finding what you're drawn to. Now, if you look at, I'm going to make myself big again for just a second, just so you can see all of the different paintings behind me, right? Are they all the same? Are they all done in the same style? Do they look identical to each other? Now, you may be able to tell, like, yeah, that looks like one of Christie's, like that may come across that way. But the reason I'm pulling them back up, and the reason I want you to look at the difference between all of them, is even though I use that same method, the find, the plan, the explore, right? We're getting there, we're exploring. I don't just paint in one style. Sometimes I use a palette knife. Sometimes I use brushes. Sometimes I use really thick bodied paint, and sometimes I just use craft acrylics. There are so many different ways that you can create, and you don't have to just pick one. Okay. I think it's important for all of us to constantly explore. So like pulling that stage back up, constantly explore and finding new ways that we can create and testing new things out, because you never know what you might fall in love with if you never let yourself try. So a huge part of, sorry, this is still not the right screen I meant to select, or maybe it is, and it just looks different now. That's not it either. Okay, ignore me for just a second while I figure this out. There we go. So one of the things I wanted to mention is, and I think what hinders a lot of us, is that nasty word, perfectionism. When we think we have to show up and be perfect and have it all figured out, guess what that does to creativity? It kills it. It absolutely kills it. If you think you have to be perfect, and if you're so scared of making a mistake, then you're never fully in the creative process. And I think a lot of, if you did an interview of every artist out there, I think everyone would share the same piece of advice with you, is that you have to make mistakes. And making mistakes as an artist is how you learn. And it's a necessary part of the process. Not everything is seamless. Not everything is perfect. It's not supposed to be. You are going to have some learning curves in this process, but it's still a process. You work through it, you experiment, and that's how you find what you like. So when you're in that explore stage, you really have to, I say, like, tap back into that little girl that was inside of you who just loved getting her, or I'm just talking about me, who loved getting her colors and her watercolors and painting or coloring. And I was just lost in that world. That's what we got to tap back into. And we've got to turn off that negative self-talk and turn off all those things that we tell ourselves, saying, I can't do this, or I'm not creative, I wasn't born that way. Guess what? None of that is true. You don't have to be born with some special talent. I feel like God gifted us all with creativity. Some of us have tapped into it, and some of us, life got in the way, or someone said something that hindered our journey along the way, and it stopped us from moving forward because we didn't like what that felt like, and we didn't like messing up, or we didn't like that someone said something bad to us. And I shared this story, recently online about when I finally got to go to my first college level painting class, and I got a C. And I just was in shock. I mean, I never was not a good art student. I never had anything but an A in any art class that I ever took. And I finally made it to the class. This was the epitome of all the art classes I wanted to take was painting in college. And I got a C. And it shook me. And I remember I hated that teacher at the time. And I thought he was a jerk, right? Because I was like, how dare you give me a C? But I look back at it now, and I was so intimidated when I walked into that room. And the reason I'm sharing this story is because I think a lot of you can relate to it. I was intimidated at 19 years old when I walked into that classroom. And within the first week, I saw the talent that was in that room. And I was like, oh, okay, they're like a real artist. And I'm like, not that. I'm like, they're like, oh my gosh, they're like really good. So I'm not that good. And I immediately compared myself to everyone else. And guess what happened? All that negative self-talk started coming in my head. So like that was from the beginning of that class. A class is an entire semester. So did I self-defeat myself in the beginning of that and not pour 100% of myself into the class because I was so scared of failure, because I was so scared of messing up or thinking I wouldn't measure up? Is that why I got the C? I don't know. Or maybe it just wasn't to the level he wanted me to be. What I do know is I could have let that stop me, and I could have let that, just completely ruin my dream of being an artist someday. And I think about how sad that would be, not only for me, not only for my girls, but for this crazy social easel world that has existed for the last 13 years. And I think of all of the women I wouldn't have gotten to meet, and stories that we've shared together, and the growth that I've seen in other people if I would have let that fear of failure or fear of messing up or fear of not being good enough, if I would have let that stop me back at 19, how different my life would be today. And I share that because I don't want the same thing for you. I don't want you to let fear be the thing that stops you from making a difference in your life, because there's always going to be fear, right? But we have to choose which direction we want to go. Are we going to let fear defeat us? Or are we going to stand up and say like, okay, that stunk. Like that stinks that I got to see. And that was very humbling. But what did it make me do? I mean, that's my personality. It made me dig deeper, and it made me be like, you know what? How dare you give me a C? I'll show you. That's me, right? I'm like, I'll show you what I can do with that C that you gave me. And I mean, yeah, to this day, I hope someday I like come across his feed and he's like, wait, did I teach her 30 years ago? But does anyone relate to what I'm saying? By the way, can anyone relate to being in that kind of space? And maybe you feel like that when you look at some of what the other women are creating. And that's why I share that story, because I don't want you to do that. This is not about comparing yourself to others and having to be at a certain place in order to do this. We all have creativity inside of us, and creativity and being artistic is not just for a select few. It's for every single one of you. And it is a skill, just like cooking, just like learning how to work out, just like literally anything we learn in life, art, painting, drawing, these are skills that anyone can learn. And that's what I'm teaching you in this process. So I'm going to pull this back up. I'm glad you guys can relate to that. Pull this back up to kind of talk about that. But I did just want to spend a minute on that, because I think it's really important for us to think about what is the reason that we're like, no, I can't do it. Not for me. But why? So if it's fear, I'm always going to say test that, because if you're trusting the fear and you believe the fear, that means you're not trusting God. So take that leap of faith, and believe that you can do this. And I'm getting ready to introduce you to 4 women who are going to show you the other side. What's on the other side of that leap of faith? Okay. So continuing back to the process, after we go from explore, we're going to go to paint, right? We're going to go to bring it to life. We are bringing it to the canvas. And this is where you're going to start applying technique, and you're going to start making decisions, and you're going to start being expressive with how you interpret a photo turning into a painting. but you're going to learn to have an artistic eye, and you're going to start learning how to ask yourself questions when you're reaching the end of a painting. You're going to start learning the process, right, of how to make your art better. And the more you do it, the better you're going to get. And that kind of leads to the discover stage. The last stage of the journey is developing your artistic voice. And we talked about experimenting. I truly think that never ends as an artist. And these women that you're getting ready to talk to will tell you the same thing. They have seen me grow as an artist in the last 2 years. Experimenting and developing your artistic voice is something that never changes, that will always be with you. You're going to learn to refine it. You're going to learn to, like, when I look back at some of my early stuff, I'm like, wow, like, what was I doing there? And that's fine, right? Like, I used to look back at some of my really old stuff I have hanging here in the studio, and it used to like make me cringe. I'd be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I taught a paint night on that. Like, it's so blah, right? But now I'm like, why look at it that way? That's who I was, and that's where I was in my journey at that time. And that's okay, because now I'm here, right? But I had to start there. You have to start at the beginning to get to the next level, right? So learning to experiment, learning to refine, and constantly critique your own work and ask yourself how it can get better. And you're learning how to find that individuality. How do you stand out? How do you make your art different and not like everybody else's? And then guess what? That arrow is going right back to find again. We repeat the process. Every time I do a new painting, I repeat the process. I start at my inspiration. I go to plan. I'm exploring. I'm testing things. I make my choices. I paint it. I discover. I refine it. I experiment with different techniques, and then I do it all again. So let me know if that makes sense to you guys in the comments. If you can give me some hearts or thumbs up, or you can let me know in the comments if understanding that process clicks with you, and makes it feel a little bit more doable when you have stages that you know you're working through. Good. I am glad. All right. So my ladies that are in the waiting room, I am getting ready to bring you up on screen, just giving you fair warning. Good. I'm glad it makes sense. Lisa said it makes so much sense. So I'm getting ready to introduce you to 4 women that I know personally, that I love, that I've gotten to know over the last several years. And I have Kleenex ready because I know most likely I'm going to cry. And also that's just normal for me. Don't let it phase you. I'm a crier and I'm emotional, so bound to happen. But I love each one of these women. I have been blessed to get to know them. I have been blessed to get to be their teacher, but also to see them grow and flourish and become even better versions of themselves, and be proud of themselves. So these are going to be your 4 mentors when you join inside the art studio. And I'm going to introduce them all. I'm going to pull them up on stage. Lori and Marcy and Brenda and Nancy. Hello, ladies.
Hello.
Hi.
How's everyone doing?
We're good.
Good. I'm gonna mess with the layout on the screen a little bit and see if I can get it. Okay, that's better, right? That's a little better, I feel like. Okay. Now let me pull up my notes. So I got to keep myself on task because we all know I can ramble sometimes. I got to move. I have about 20 different things open on my computer right now, so I just got to move a few things around. So really quick. Oh, now I've really messed my screen up. I don't know what I did. Oh, Megan, I don't know what I did. Can you see what my screen looks like? It's all squished together. Well, I may just have to be really small. Okay, so I'm going to introduce really quickly. You guys can just wave right now, and then I'll kind of do like a round robin. So we have Miss Lori up at the top here. Everyone got their audio on? Are you guys good on audio?
I hope so.
I don't know.
Yes, I can hear you. Nancy, you're good. Brenda, you're good.
Testing.
I can hear you, Marcy.
Yep.
Lori,
Is
you're
Lori
a
frozen?
little
Lori's
fuzzy
frozen.
right now. All right, we'll let Lori figure out what's going on there. But really quick, I'll start with Marcy since Lori's is a little bit messed up right now. If you just want to do a quick 30-second intro of yourself and your journey, that would be fantastic. And then Nancy, I'll go to you, and then Brenda, and then Lori will come back to you.
Yeah, so I'm Marcy, and I'm in Missouri. I'm love art. I have a creative background. My family is very creative. My mom, my grandmas, sisters, aunts, cousins, you name it, we're in it. And so I had high school art all 4 years, and then I did go to college for 2 years, got my associates in 98, and all 2 of those years did painting and art and drawing there. And so I definitely have the background of it, but then I became a hairstylist in 2000. And so I've been behind the chair ever since. So for a very long stretch, I really gave up my creative side and poured that into my profession. It wasn't until COVID hit that I found myself very depressed and just not having any joy in my job anymore. And so then I found the social easel. And I've been here ever since. And whenever she decided to bring on the Masterclass, I was like, of course I'll be there. So I've been there from the start as well. So it's been a great journey so far.
Yay. Thank you for sharing that. Sorry, we're having some connection issues for some of the ladies, so I'm getting it worked out here. Nancy, are you ready? You can share.
Yes. So I have been with Christy and Tribe for 5 years, and I graduated high school 50 years ago, and was ever since a child. Actually, Christy, a lot of your story is very similar to mine. I mean, it really resonates. It's almost like part of me feels like we're the same person walking around in 2 different bodies. In relation to your journey kind of thing. I mean, you're way, way ahead. I mean, I'm old now, but so I was very creative always. And when I became an adult, life got in the way and I suppressed and kind of warehoused my creativity. And I want to say maybe 7 years ago, my husband knew I was missing it and bought me pencils and sketchbooks and things like that and said, I went to school with my husband. We knew each other since 5th grade. So he knew that creative piece of me, part of me. So he got me back into it. And it was shortly thereafter that Christy came through on a feed and I jumped on and have been with you since. But I took the masterclass twice, learned very valuable information in there. And I don't know what else you want me to say about me.
We'll get more into it. I just wanted you to share a little bit of kind of what got you here, so to say. So that's perfect. All right, I'm going to pull Lori back up again.
Sorry,
Lori.
my internet.
You're fine. You're fine. I'll give you a second to, get calm again. I'll let Brenda share her intro.
What question are we answering?
You're just sharing a little bit of just where you are, what kind of got you here, a little bit of your journey, just super short. You can go ahead, Brenda. Sorry.
Okay. Hi. I'm Brenda Parr. I live in Florida. I think I found Christy 5 years ago, but before that, I had already had a bit of a journey. I had started, well, actually, I'm like Nancy, all the way back into anything art I could find or take. My mom would put me in art classes or things like that. But when it came to college, I wanted to be a teacher, so I went to school for that. But then I went and asked if I could take all the art classes. Anything I could do that would involve art, I would take. But I never had official art training. And then my dad, who also had art ability, he didn't discover it until he was in his 70s. And when we moved to Alabama, he said, "Guess what? I signed you up for an art class." So we went to the Senior Citizen Center and we took art, and I learned oils. And I did that for about 5 years, and then life took over, and I had a new job, and all these things were going on. But it was always there every time. I had to find something creative. I had to paint something. If I was teaching kids, we were always doing art. There was always something. And eventually I had a break in time where I could take some classes out of college. It was unaccredited, but it was very valuable. And then COVID hit, and then my dear teacher retired. So all of a sudden I saw this lovely face on Facebook, and there was Christy, and I thought, I think I need that. I was stuck in a realistic bubble, and that's kind of what was going on. A lot of what I did was very realistic, and I loved it. It was fun, but I couldn't be satisfied because I wanted it to look exactly what I wanted it to look like, or what the picture looked like. So once I found her, it was like, yes, I have a whimsical side. I know I do. And all these things. So that is where I have really started to flourish. And a lot of the things that I was interested in, her and I both love texture and, just a lot of things. And now I'm really starting to discover that side of me. So
Yes.
look out, world. I may be old, but
But hey, it doesn't matter what age we are. You are never too old to tap into your creativity.
never.
And what I want to say is, I think it surprises a lot of people when I tell them this, but most of the women who end up painting with me are 55 plus, because I think, you guys you're busy being moms and wives and careers and everything that goes on in life. And then sometimes it happens later, like you can finally slow down long enough to maybe pursue something that you always wanted to do. Yeah, Nancy's like, no, not really, but
Not yet.
All right, Lori, your turn. You can just share a little bit with us about how you are here now. Oh, wait, you're muted again. We did have sound.
Oh boy.
Can she hear? Yeah, we can't hear you. I don't know what happened. We had sound.
There it is.
Oh. Did you change any setting maybe when you we could hear you when you came right back in, right before Brenda started talking, we could hear you. Hit your microphone button again. It's selected on mute right now. Okay, so that's
that?
now. Yep, now we can hear you again. I have no idea what happened. Don't touch anything.
Everything keeps freezing, so I don't know if you can hear me or not.
We can hear you. You're good.
Oh.
Can you hear me? Can you see me? Can
Yes.
you hear me? Maybe you get rid of me. I'm the newbie amongst all these wonderful women because I started painting 4 years
ago.
Dang it. I hate that for her. It's so frustrating when the internet does this.
It
Sometimes.
is.
Yeah, you keep freezing and then you'll come back in and it'll be fine and then it freezes again.
Right. You know what? I'll try and go to I think our upstairs computer, I think, is hardwired in. I'll try going in and you can see if I come back, but
You're working right
I'll do
now.
my
Just
best.
yeah, try to share right now, and then we'll see. We'll see.
These ladies are amazing, and I'm the newbie. I'm the one that's only been painting for 4 years, and I have learned so much, and I have gotten so much joy, and I have developed so much confidence. And I said in my little post in the Facebook group, I taught kindergarten, and one time I drew a picture of Santa, and the kids all looked at it and said, "That looks like a duck." So, you know, I had no experience, and now I have such joy and all this wonderful creativity that I get to try and express. I did scrapbooking for a long time, and that was sort of my creative outlet. But this is a whole different thing, and the leap from where I started to now is just amazing.
Yes, it is. And it's been so fun to watch. And so I think I love Lori's story, especially compared to the other 3 women that are here, because they did talk about, they used to have this creative side and it got kind of put on the shelf, or you've gone through different things just like mine was. But I think, Lori, a lot of people relate to you because they're like, right, okay, I'm not a Marcy or a Brenda or a Nancy, and I didn't grow up that way. So that means this is not for me, right? And like that couldn't be further from the truth. Is it does not matter what your background is, how long you've been painting, and like you're like just the best model of that, because you did come in with no experience, and you were. And I'll tell you this about Lori, and this is what I say to people who, if you really want to learn, she really wanted to learn. And she put in the work. She wasn't one of those that would just pop in and be like, I watched you for 30 minutes and I tried it for 5 seconds and I couldn't do it, so I'm just not good. Does anyone know one of those people? Like, you try for 5 seconds, and if you couldn't do it, then you just assume you're no good at it. And she had the complete opposite of that. And like, if she struggled with something, she asked for help. And she was like, what am I not, and her and I would always tease about, she's like, what's not clicking? And then she'd have like these aha moments. As her teacher. It has been amazing, and just makes me so happy to like see the transformation in her and what it's done for her confidence. Like she said herself, I just love it for you.
It is, and I think that's a key to it. So anybody that takes this course, to truly be successful, you do have to be willing to be vulnerable and raise your hand and ask a question. There's not a dumb question. You're here to learn. You're not expected to know everything. And you're also not expected, when you create your first original, nobody is expecting that it's going to hang in the Art Institute in Chicago.
Right.
You're going from where you are, and you want to move yourself forward. But where your forward is not going to be the same as anybody else's forward that takes this class.
Yes, very well said. All right, so I'm going to do a question for you guys. I did give them these ahead of time, so I wouldn't just like throw them a curveball out here. So the first question I had for you, and we'll start with, let me look at my screen again. Yeah, Marcy, I'm going to start with you. I'll do Marcy, Brenda, Lori, and then Nancy. So what did, you've kind of answered the first part of this, is what did your creative life look like before the masterclass? And it says, and what were you actually stuck on? So Marcy, I'll let you answer that how you see fit, or, it may be a little bit different for you.
Yeah, definitely. I've been in Tribe since 21. And so I've been painting along with you since then. And then whenever the master class came about, I was just interested in like a little deeper dive in a collection of all the information that your tutorials tend to do. And, I definitely have ventured out on my own doing originals, that type of feel. It was just one of those that I wasn't doing it often, or I would do it in tiny little ways. But I wasn't ever just really venturing out like, man, I really want to paint a floral today. Let me go and paint that today. And so that has helped me be more methodical on that kind of information. And also, too, I feel like I'm kind of prehistoric T-Rex whenever it comes to technology. And so I'm just like, so some of the stuff that you had out there for us was the technology side to bring your creativity, making templates, that type of thing. A resource that I can go back to whenever I'm wanting to create something. And so I do, in college, I painted a lot of portraits and drew in charcoal portraits. I was very stuck in a portraits phase. I definitely haven't brought that to my creativity right now, but I do love painting animals. And so that has really helped me with the technology side to get the more accuracy, especially with my painting that I did of my deceased cat. I wanted to do a memorial painting of him, but I was just too frozen in this idea of like, I don't want to mess him up.
Right.
And so he's my beloved. And so that had helped me there. And so once I took that stepping stone, it was just like it has unleashed the beast. I am now an original artist.
Let me, I'm going to pull this up. I don't know what it's going to do to our screen. I'm going to try it for just a second. Oh, hang on. Let me get this off. So this is some of Marcy's work that I just wanted to show. So this is since her masterclass. Which one was your first one in the masterclass? Was it the teal at the bottom?
Yeah, those two. Mm-hmm.
So these at the bottom were her first two.
Yeah.
And then the one at the top, this is my absolute favorite Marcy painting.
Yeah.
I want a copy. Yeah. I want a print of it. But she brought it in person to my studio when we had a meetup last year, and it is even more beautiful in person. So that was what you created in the second year of the masterclass, wasn't it?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And it was one of those moments of like, you know, from the first year to the second year. The first year, I was just working the program. The second year, it kind of was like, okay, I know this program. There was some newer stuff there, but it was just like the fluidity of creating came even more. And with that piece, I had no intentions of making that. I actually had two different ideas. I was actually leaning another way until I went to go get some materials for the mixed media part. And I knew I had an old Webster dictionary. And I was like, you know what? Looking through that, getting some inspiration. At the very back, though, my mom had post-it notes and of like just the back, like sectioning it off the back part of it. And it was just in her handwriting. My mom has passed away for 21 years now. And sorry.
No, you're okay.
And so I wasn't really sure what to do with those, but I was like, I really want to put this in a painting. And so I pivoted on that. And I was like, I think I can use these post-it notes with her handwriting in there. And I looked at my other inspiration. I was like, oh my gosh, I think this big flower is going to hold these post-it notes. So then I started thinking about that. And then I also put the definition of mother inside that flower as well. And, you know, it was just like one of those moments that you can't always have with art. But I definitely got to create that. And it was magical.
Yeah, I love that. And I love that you were able to do that, obviously, as a tribute to your mom and how special that is. And I wish I could blow this up big for you guys to see. And it's so beautiful. And I mean, her painting has inspired me to want to do something similar like that. And this is what I love about art, okay, is the meaning that it can have for you. It may be painting an animal, it may be painting a vacation, it may be, you know, something that you just think is beautiful and it brings you joy, right? But to be able to, because you were so tapped in to your creative self during that masterclass, and because you were immersed in it, I have to say this, like, as an artist, you have to really make good art. you can't be like, okay, you got 20 minutes and you got to hurry up and get it done. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, you have to like immerse yourself in the process of it and get lost in it. And usually like a really great piece of art like that happens in those stages where you're like going between a couple ideas and then you just see something and you're like, wait, I can put that in there. Like that can become a part of that. But it's because your brain is already like now like firing on all these creative things, right? It's already like attuned to like start accepting that, if that makes sense. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I love that. And then these last two that we have over on the side, the Mykonos windows, I showed you guys mine at the beginning. And then this is one. Marcy, where is your window from? I can't remember.
It's in Provence in south of France,
Yes.
in like Roussillon or something like that. I have no idea how to pronounce it.
Yeah.
But
But
it was
again,
a really cool town.
It's like you were like, oh, like your window painting in Mykonos made me think of this. And like now I felt confident enough to tackle that and like make my window. You know what I mean? And so like it's just so cool to see that. And then another one of her photos down below that she's turned into a painting. So thank you for sharing that and being vulnerable and sharing, you know, the deep part of the story behind your art too. But it's just such a great example to show you what can happen when you truly tap into it. So I love that.
Thank you.
All right. Sorry, I'm having technical difficulties myself right now. Okay. So, Brenda,
is like art and soul.
What'd you say?
I said Marcy's painting is art and soul.
Yes.
Then heart and soul is art and soul.
Yeah. So Brenda, I will ask you the same question, kind of where you were before you took the masterclass, and if there was anything you were stuck on, and then what the masterclass kind of opened up for you.
Well, I shared a little bit of it, that I was still a little bit in that realistic bubble, but then on the other hand, I have a whole nother side. So a lot of it too, I want to try to make mine look what the teacher's looks like, or, you know, because I can do that somewhat, but then trying to figure out who I am in the midst of it. So as I was writing down, I think a lot of what I am is texture these days. I don't know what it is, but a lot of that is coming out in a lot of things that I'm doing. So yet looking at that pier there, that is more of a realistic type view. That was somewhere in our neighborhood down the street from us. And so, you know, I still have that ability, and I love that. And I love to be able to paint smoothly as well. But as far as I think seeing and what I like most in the composition, I have that freedom now. Whereas I didn't really have it. I mean, I just kind of thought, well, I have to do this because this is what I'm supposed to do. But now I'm starting to see, you know, wait a minute, you can do this, or you have the ability, you know how to do this. And because of the masterclass, it's given me even things that I thought I knew, I didn't know as well. Or I thought I knew of the color wheel. I thought I understood it, but I still can learn more and more and more every day about that. So, but it's coming out more and more in what I do believe, because that gives me more confidence to be able to say, wait a minute, I know how to do that. And and it's because of the masterclass. So if that helps somewhat.
Yeah. And I love seeing like what I've seen, just like you were saying, you wanted, there was that part of you before that always wanted it to look like what it was supposed to look like. Right. Mm-hmm. And I think like that's a big thing to overcome. And so for you to now be able to be like, trust yourself. That's what I hear. Like when you're telling that story, is that you learn to trust yourself in the process. That's and true. I think that's a big thing. When you learn to trust yourself as an artist, then that's when things start opening up for you. Because when we're in that, and I want to say this to someone, well, there's a lot of love in the comments, but I love Marilyn said, this feels like a whole new group of friends. And Andrea said, 4 of my favorite people. So looking forward to the masterclass. But I do want to, pause here. You guys can see this and you can feel it. This is a part of being, the special part of being in a community like this is that, yes, you're going to have the modules and you're going to learn the technical things from me. but you also have this community of other artists and other women who are going through what you're going through and sharing the same struggles as you, and you help each other in this process too. And that's a really cool part of the journey. So Miss Nancy, I'm going to pull you up next and let you share a little bit about where you were and now where you are after the masterclass.
So the masterclass was huge for me. Like I said, I grew up being a creative thinker. I always have been. I painted in high school. I did a lot of like charcoal and pen and ink and sketching. I was a big sketcher, but I only really painted during my high school art classes. So painting kind of was not new to me, but it really kind of was new to me. And I could follow the lessons. I could follow the tutorials and painting as Christy was teaching as a tribe sister. So I could paint along or paint it on my own in the replay. But I wasn't able, and I didn't think I was able or capable. I didn't have the confidence that I could, springboard to my own style and my own stuff. I think I'm still kind of trying to figure out what my style is, because like Brenda, I'm huge into palette, and I love texture. I love texture. And I think I tend to paint everything a little messy, even if it's not supposed to be. It's just the way it is. But anyway, so I've learned to, for me, the masterclass has really taught, I have so much more confidence that I feel that I can just kind of spin off what I've learned. All those modules were super helpful as like a building block, and giving me the mindset that I'm able to do it on my own and do my own pieces.
Yeah, I love it. Sorry, let me pull Lori back up here really quick. Sorry, Lori, I'm trying to find you. Okay. Hi, Lori.
I'm back.
Oh,
Now I'm
Nancy, really quick, before I wanted to talk a little bit about your art. So obviously you're seeing some of Nancy's art up here on the screen. A couple that I just have to call out that I just absolutely adore. We had a challenge inside of Tribe to paint our Among the Wildflowers, which is a workshop I taught in a completely different way. Make it your own. How cool is Nancy's ironing board? I think it is like the coolest. I love it. I love your picture that you took of it with the water behind it too. And then will you share a little bit with us about the one at the top that's got, I think that's the one that you took all the different dried paint and made it with. Is that right? The floral.
Yeah, my ironing board, I used it this weekend. I had a girls' weekend because my husband's away golfing. So I had the girls' weekend. It's still out on the deck. It's getting used. It always did, even before I painted on it. But I also resined over top. So it's good if something spills on it. It's been outside all weekend. So that cool. That's one of my favorites. I have that here. This one, which is the one in the top you're asking about.
Yeah.
I did it all with paint scraps. These are all basically pieces of dried paint. All of it, except for these little circles right here. Every part of this, these are the tops of the paint tubes that dry.
Oh my gosh. I never realized that when I looked at it before. Do you know how many of those I have laying around my studio?
Everything, every part of this little guy down here, that's from the gold paint. Everything is layers. So it's pretty, it's
so cool.
There's a lot of different layers. Like you could see, like this is one piece of it. This is another one. This is another one. So it's all just Mod Podged over. The centers of these flowers are those that have them are the paint tube tips right there, like that. So I love this is the gold peeled paint. Look at that one. So yeah, I love this piece.
Yes, I do too. And ever since I saw yours, I had a pile of like all my dried pallets, and then, but slowly I started throwing them away. I was like, you're never going to do anything with those. You're never going to do anything with them. They're just like taking it. And then I saw Nancy's piece of art and I was like, okay, no, I'm recreating my pile. I have a separate little stash in my studio saved with all my dried paint. And I just think it is the coolest thing ever. So again, community art inspires art. I love it.
Field paint.
So cool. Like,
Yeah.
Isn't that the greatest idea? It's so, yeah, Christina said brilliant. I love it. Thank you for sharing. So yeah, I just like being able to tap into that creative side, just like we were talking about with Marcy. Yeah. I mean, it's
never
just
would
so
have done
cool.
that if it wasn't for Masterclass.
Yeah.
Never.
I love that. Love, love, love. All right, Miss Lori, are you ready?
Am I unmuted? There we go. I didn't mean to be making noise. Sorry. I had to run upstairs. He tells me I'm closer to the thingy, so hopefully it'll work. I don't know. We'll find out. Anyway,
you're good. You're good.
Well, I was thinking about like before Masterclass and after Masterclass, and I think the one thing that I keep thinking about was during Masterclass we did a critique for my first painting, which was the geranium.
Mm-hmm.
And that one, I did that completely out of a picture in my head, which I think actually made it harder for me. If I had actually done it from a photograph, it would have been just so much easier. But I had this picture in my head, and that's what I wanted to do. And when I submitted it for critique, I kept looking and looking. And when I asked for your feedback, everything you said, and I don't know if you remember this, but everything you said, I said, I knew you were going to tell me that.
Mm-hmm.
I knew you were going to tell me that. And so I think, I mean, I just learned so much from Masterclass, and just through time and through practice and painting and listening carefully. It's just been a wonderful, like the whole artistic journey of mine has been just the most wonderful learning experience. I look at my very first painting that I did. It looks so flat, and I don't know, everything. I've just learned so much, and I think that's what I really appreciate about the Masterclass. There's so much to learn. You can't expect to master all of it at once.
Right.
This is a process. This is truly a process.
Yeah, I love that. And I agree, because I think, and you can say this or talk to this point, but like your second time through the Masterclass, that's when you did the second painting, correct?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so like, I think it's important for people to realize too, and now here's the thing, this Masterclass that we're talking about now, I used to do it like a new session those first 2 years. But now it will be the same group moving forward. So like once you join, you're in, and then you'll continue to learn and you'll have access to these modules. But the second time you went through it, I feel like kind of like what I was talking about in the beginning, we learn from doing, and you learn from repeating it. And so coming into the second year of it, you already had all that base knowledge, and you learned so much in your first year. And so then that was like a building step. You know what I mean? That was like a stepping stone for your second year. And that's where I just really saw your confidence shift, was like in the first year you were. And I do remember exactly what you're talking about. And that's what I could tell you were already learning. You were like, I knew you were going to say that. And I'm like, I know you knew I was going to say that. Like you knew the answer, but you wanted me to tell you it was the answer. Right.
And I did. And then what it comes down to is me still trying to figure out how to implement those things. Like I have a real problem with value changes. I'm afraid of them. I don't know, but I know how important it is. And then I did, after these two sometime this spring, I have a picture that I took at the Chicago Botanic Garden a number of years ago that I've always loved, and I've always thought that would make a great painting. And so
Oh, here, let me make you bigger.
I did that. So that's
Cool.
I still can't get the lily right, but I love these lily pads.
Yeah.
They look
Those
like
look
little
awesome.
trays.
Yeah.
And so it probably still needs some tweaking and whatnot, but it satisfied my urge to really try that finally. And like I said, I took that picture years ago and always wanted to paint it. And this gave me the confidence to do it.
I love that. And I love that you were able to like work past, what some of those fears were, or maybe not knowing, and push past that. And like I said, in your second year, you felt more confident. And now, like the Lori that I knew in the beginning, really wanted me to be like, yes, that's right. Now do this.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And now the Lori that I know is like, I feel like I know what I need to do next. And like that is like, to me, the biggest shift I've seen in you is like being able to make those choices yourself.
My brain used to think there was a formula. Like you do this, and then you do this, and then you do this. And I have finally, I think, come to accept that it doesn't work that way.
Right. Yeah. And I remember us talking about it, and I was like, I would love to tell you that I can just tell you, A plus B equals C, but I was like, it just doesn't. Like, I'll give you a process, but you still have to work through it, and you still have to make choices. And I think for some people, like, that's a hard thing. But again, like, that's a really hard thing when you're doing it by yourself. But because we have the support system that we do in the masterclass,
Mm-hmm.
when you're feeling the way that Lori was feeling in those times, you have a Facebook group you can go to. You can say, okay, guys, I'm struggling. That's where you say that stuff and you post what you're working on. And then guess what happens? All your cheerleaders are going to come and say, okay, here's what I would do. Or sometimes we just happen to be our own worst critics. And instead people are like, what are you talking about? I love the way that it looks, right? Like right. We've had that happen too. So right. That's wonderful. All right. Well, I don't want to keep you guys all night. I appreciate you coming on with me. Before I let you go, if there is someone watching tonight and they are worried they're not creative enough, what would be one thing that you would tell them? Marcy, I'll start with you and then go Brenda, Lori, Nancy, if that works.
Yeah, you are creative. I've witnessed ladies that, similar to Lori, I have family members that didn't think they were creative, coworkers that didn't think they could paint, and yet we can come together and paint. You just got to do the work, start from the beginning, follow it through the end, and it'll get you there. And that's what's a great place to start is here. And you're just going to keep going up.
Awesome. Thank you.
I have so many people that tell me, oh, I can't even draw a stick figure. Well, start there. Because God made stick figures too, I think. No, I'm with Christy. I do believe that God gave us a creative ability in some form, whether it's music or, there's so many gifted people out there in so many ways. But if you're desiring to know what art is, then you have creative curiosity. And I think that curiosity is what's going to lead you to finding who you are as a creative being. And so trust that. There's a reason for that. And allow God to show you who that is, because I think it's pretty special. So
yeah, I love that. Lori, what about you?
I think if you have the newbie jitters, I call them the newbie jitters, I just would encourage you to stick with it. Don't give up. Don't say, oh, I can't do this, throw your hands up. I keep a sign on my art table that says, have fun and give yourself grace because you are learning. And I think to Marcy's painting, That, I think that is a big part of it. Choose something you love to paint, like something that speaks to you somehow. And I think you will feel more successful. And really remember that this course is all about learning and it's not about perfection.
Yeah, it's good. Thank you. All right, Miss Nancy.
I would say to give yourself permission to play. We all know how to play. And I think in doing that, you'll discover stuff about yourself. I learned a lot about myself in the absence of art, and I've learned a lot about myself with the presence of art in the last few years. So I would say clear away any blocks that you have or resistance and let new light in and release your inhibitions with the paintbrush and play. And the saying of, do unto others as you would have done unto yourself, reverse that. Do one with not judging yourself. Do unto yourself as you would do unto others. So give, one of you said it, give yourself grace.
Yeah.
And play, and you will learn and develop and have a ball along the way. And if you're anything like me, you're going to realize that you don't want to go through the rest of your life without having art in your life, because it is a huge relief. It's a way to relieve tension and stress and all those things. So give yourself permission to do
I
it.
love that. Those are all such good things to share with these women. And I 100% agree. And I think, I especially feel like as women, as adults, we're all handling so much all the time. And for this to just be our one place, right? Where we're not trying to make anyone else happy. We're not doing it for anyone else. Do it for, and gosh, if I could say, that's my one thing. If I could say one thing to anybody watching is, don't do it for the praise of others. Don't do it for applause. Don't do it to have a pat on the back. Do it for you. Do it because you want to and because you're excited about it. And the more you do it for you, the better it's all going to be. And the more you're going to enjoy it too. Because if you're always trying to impress or please or get praise from, then you're always going to be disappointed, right? Because now you've put expectations on yourself. You've put expectations on your art. And I'm saying that as much as I'm saying it to you, I'm saying it to myself too. Because as your teacher, as the instructor, sometimes I'm at the easel and I'm at the canvas and I'm thinking, what if they don't like it? What if they think this sucks and they don't want, sorry if that offended anyone, but what if they don't like it and they don't want to, they're like, why would I paint that? That's stupid. Like those thoughts still go through my head. But also, I think like that's the enemy trying to get in our heads. You got to flush that stuff out. And you've got to, just like she said, like, let the light in, trust your journey. Like there is something inside each one of us. And there's a story that each one of us have to share with this world. And that's what I feel. I believe that God gave each one of us that. Yep. And however that comes out in your life, like we're not all five of us that are sitting here today. We've all shared our creative journeys with you. Each one is different. Each one of us has a different purpose. I feel like mine is to teach. That's my passion, is to see this, to see transformation, to see this change people's lives. That's why I do what I do. Yes, I love to paint, but even more than painting, I love to see the joy that it brings other people and then the ripple effect of that. If our world could focus more on finding joy and spreading joy, think of how much better it would be. But we can be a little piece of that. And God can use us in that way. So I just want to thank you guys again. I love all four of you. I'm so excited that you guys are going to be a part of this journey with me and these ladies that join. So Tracy, I saw your question in the comments just a second ago, and she said, did I miss this? Like, what is this about Christy and the mentors? And so we've been, just doing some things behind the scenes, and I've been planning and asked them earlier this week if they would be a part of this with me. So yeah, that's going to be the support group in the Facebook, or support in the Facebook group. And you're gonna have all 5 of us in there, plus Megan, who is our community manager, is going to be helping to handle things on the back end. So it will be a safe space for everyone to learn and explore. I will tell you this, I doubt you find a better support group out there, and you will never feel nervous to share your work in there because you're going to get love and support back. The more you invest in this community and the more you share, then you're going to get it back tenfold. And I've seen that for years.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much. Okay, I'm going to let you guys go. So I'll take you off the screen. Have a great evening. I'll see you in the group. And then I know we kind of gave an overview of what you guys can expect. I gave you the creative process. And I know some of you are like, we've been on here for over an hour. Wrap it up, right? There's a lot to share. I didn't want to shorten any of that time, but I do want to, I'm going to pull up on my screen and share with you guys a little more in depth of what you can expect inside the masterclass. First, I do want to explain another reason this year is different than the past years is because now this will be the main course. So there will not be a new year each year after this. So this is the course. Everyone who joins the course will have lifetime access to it. So you can go back to these modules anytime you want to, for as long as you want to. There is no timeline that you have to finish by. Everyone is on their own journey. So I think that's really important for everyone to understand. The other questions that I saw is how long is the pricing available? So we have an introductory offer of $897 for the masterclass, and that expires on August 9th. So you have 2 weeks to get that early bird introductory offer, and then the masterclass will go up to $997 after that. And then we are also doing a kickoff ceremony Zoom call on August 18th. So if you join by that deadline, you will be in the group for that. You'll get to be a part of the kickoff call where we get to bring everyone together. And then I will be doing quarterly Zoom calls with the masterclass. And so that is going to be your chance to, obviously you're going to have the Facebook group and you're going to be able to submit your thoughts and your ideas and get suggestions. All that stuff is always going to be ongoing in that Facebook group. And you will always have access to that Facebook group when you become a member of the masterclass. So that resource will always be there for you for support. And then quarterly, you will get a live call with me where we all come together, and I can give you advice. You're going to get advice from the other students and of course the mentors as well. So that is the support aspect of it. So I am going to pull this up really quick. Hang on. I have so many things down below here. let me get rid of some of this really quick. If you guys have more questions, drop them in the comments now. And I'm going to do a quick overview and then I will rapid fire into the questions. Let me make sure I'm on the right page. I think that's it. Give me just a second. I want to make sure I have 2 tabs open. I don't want to pull up the wrong thing. Okay, so I'm going to make myself small down here so you guys can see this a little bit clearer. So again, if you are a tribe sister watching this, you have a separate page to sign up for as a tribe sister. So make sure you go to that. There's a little video from me walking you through it, but I want to just, all of this is going to be here when you go to this page. So I'm just going to scroll down. and get to the nuts and bolts of what you're going to get inside of here. So we talked about my creative process in detail at the beginning. If you came in late, you can watch that on the replay. But I kind of wanted to go through what the modules inside the course actually look like. So module 1, as we talked about on that creative process, is all about finding. So find is stage number 1. This is where you're gathering inspiration. So inspiration, organization, and preparation. Inside this module, I'm going to walk you through each one of those steps, and you're going to get to see it all come together. So your first job when you join is to gather inspiration. And I really, really strongly encourage you to go through these modules in the order that they are presented to you. I designed the course this way for a reason, to build on what you learned in the previous module. If you jump in and you're like, oh, I don't need to do what she said in module 1, and I already have ideas, I'm just going to jump over here to module 3 and I'm going to just learn about color because that's what I need to know about. You are missing out on so much. So even if you think you know and you think you have it all figured out, I would still encourage you to actually finish module 1 before going to module 2. Module 2 is where we are building your composition. This is where you're going to start learning how to simplify, design, create, all of those things. And I'm walking you through in multiple lessons. This is not one lesson that is, going to be an hour and a half long, and I'll show you a screen of what your modules actually look like. These are many lessons broken down with very specific things that I'm teaching you in each one to help make these decisions easier for you. And then this is just an example of what I'm talking about. These are what thumbnails look like. Again, does that look like anything fantastic? No, it's getting my ideas on paper. It's me picking and choosing different elements I like from my reference images that I'm looking at. And you're going to learn how to do that exact thing in module 2. Module 3 is all about understanding color. Oh, I forgot to mention in module 2 also, you will be learning, we're talking about building your composition. This module 2 is hugely beneficial, especially if you have no creative background. I am going to literally teach you what I learned in art school inside module 2. So understanding the elements of art, understanding what makes a strong composition versus a weak one. You're going to start learning those things so you can apply it to your own artwork. So that's also in the design stage. Module 3 is all about color. If you are scared of color mixing, if you struggle with making beautiful, bright colors and yours end up muddy, if you don't understand value or how colors work together, guess what? You're going to learn all of it in module 3. Module 4 is continuing to explore. This is just like what Nancy was saying. This is the play stage. This is where you're starting to experiment and play and explore. You're really trying a bunch of different things, and we have exercises for you to help you do that so you can see what it is that you like and start developing what you are drawn to. And here's Miss Beautiful Marcy again. And module 5, this is where we're bringing it all together and starting to take it to Canvas. But here's the important thing I want to tell you. As you're watching me kind of go over these modules and showing you these different steps that you're going to, by the time you get to module 5, and it's time to okay, oh my gosh, that's a little nerve wracking. Now's the time we're actually putting it on canvas, right? You're not going to feel those nerves because we have built along the way. You're going to have a plan in place when you get to module 5. When you get to this step, you have already built that confidence along the way and you've learned so much. By the time you get to the point where you're actually putting paint on canvas, you're going to feel good about it because you have a plan. Okay, so I think that's important to know. We're not asking you to just sit down and create. You're really going through the process of learning all these steps. Module 6 is really just the bonus. And what I mean by that is really where I'm going to start sharing with you, and I will be adding to this module. This is the other great thing about the way that we've structured the masterclass now. This is the masterclass. So anything new, I will not create another one next year. There won't be a new class to join. Once you're in, you're in. Anything new I decide to share with you is added to what you have already paid for. So when you sign up, you are grandfathered into anything new I add. Okay. So the reason I talk about that with module 6 is because as an artist and as someone who has continued to grow in their journey and done different things, I've done paint parties. I'm going to teach you all about that and the ins and outs and all of my tips and how I became the best girls night, 4 years in a row. You're going to get to hear how I did that. I'm going to show you how to take your art and put it on products, how to make art prints with it. But that is now something that I'm really tapping into in my business and my personal life is something that I wanted to pour focus into, is getting more of my art out there on things, right? So the more I do that, the more tips I'm going to have. I'm going to be able to share with you. All of that's going to be added to module 6. The other amazing thing that we've added this year is a full module of all past studio critiques and creative coaching. So this is really, really important for those of you who've never been in any kind of art class or art school of any kind. A lot of times the word critique scares people. I don't want it to scare you because none of us are mean, and critiques are important for artists because it's teaching you to have the artist's eye and it's giving you feedback from other people. But what you will learn and why we gave you access to this is because even though you haven't submitted your art, you're going to be able to look and listen to other women who did submit their art to me and had me critique it on screen. And you get to hear my advice for them. For most of you, whatever I tell another student can be also applied to yourself. So you actually learn a lot through listening to those critiques. And then we've also included our session recaps. So like, let's say you finish module 1. When you finish module 1, you can jump over here to module 7 and you can go watch a replay of us talking about module 1 and what did people learn. And like all of that is just good. It's good for you to take in all that extra training. And then module 8 is also new that I added this year. And the reason why is because I think for a lot of people, when it used to be called the Florals Masterclass, a lot of people were like, well, that's cool. Are you going to do a landscapes masterclass? Are you going to do one on animals? Are you going to, and I was like, well, no, because then I would have to just teach all the same things again. Like think about like all the modules I just showed you, right? Whether I am showing you as an example through florals or an animal or a landscape, everything that I just showed you and all the modules you were learning, none of that changed. That's all the same fundamental information that you're learning regardless of what you're painting. But I know that people need examples beyond florals, right? So that's why we named it that, beyond florals, and applying this creative process to any subject. So I've included some bonus lessons for you where I have walked my tribe behind the scenes of some of these things. We've included those lessons in. The picture that you see on the screen is Lake Tahoe. That was a photograph I took from Lake Tahoe, showing them how to sketch it, showing them how to do small studies, and then finally taking it to canvas, right? So again, same process regardless of the subject matter, but it's to help you see that. And then we also included, these are older lessons that I did and they are fall related. So you're going to get access to like my fall scarecrow and my fall wreath and my pumpkins. But it's not just to give you tutorials because that's not what the masterclass is about. But in each one of those, I'm actually showing you the behind the scenes process of how they all came about. You're seeing my struggles, you're seeing me make artistic decisions, and you're starting to understand what it is like to think like an artist. So we really felt like this was a new great thing to add to the course that fundamentally will help you and help your brain kind of comprehend how the process works. So that is everything that is included within the modules. And then, like I said, it is introductory price is $897 through August 9th. So you have it through August 9th to join at that price. In addition to everything that I just showed you, you will have, these will be added to your library. So when you, if you are new to me and you don't, if you're not a tribe member, painting of the month club, or maybe you haven't ever done a workshop with me, you get your own member library. And inside that member library, every class that you've ever purchased from me or membership is all there for you. These are now being added to your library. So those 2 basics are being added. And then again, 3 complete demonstrations of how I utilize this process through 3 different paintings. So in Picture Perfect, a lot of you took my free class on that, and you saw the beginnings of how that came together. You get the full process from start to finish. So you can see how I did that from a photo. The Jar Full of Sunshine was a still life that someone created for me. And then you get to see me take a photo of that still life and put my own artistic spin on it, right? This does not look identical to this, correct? So you're going to learn those creative choices. And then in Spring Blossoms, this was another still life that I had. It was a picture of a vase of flowers that Corey gave me. And then how I basically took out the entire background out of it and made it more of an expressive abstract. And we really focused on shapes and color and composition, all of those things that you're learning through these. We thought they were 3 important tutorials that if you did not have access to them already, we're going to give them to you as a bonus when you join the masterclass. So again, you will receive access to all of that, and you have lifetime access to all of that. So you don't have to rejoin. There's no additional fees that will come. You get access to all 8 self-paced modules. You will get an e-workbook that you can print off. You'll have the Studio Critique library. You'll have the Beyond the Florals bonus module, your art foundations. You will have the private Facebook community with mentors and myself and Megan all in there, and then all future course updates. And so this is really one of the biggest bonuses we've ever been able to offer when selling this, but we've never done it before. So once you join, you're in. And then the price increases to $997 on August 10th. But if you lock in that price before then, you get it at $897. And then you can also reserve your seat for our live kickoff call that's going to be on August 18th. So I am going to pull myself back up full screen and start taking any questions that you guys have. I think I answered some in that process, but I'm going to go back to the starred questions here. Let's see. Adriana, she said, I purchased back in 2025. Would it be possible to join with my existing enrollment? So you got a, as an alumni, because you've taken the course with me before, you have a special discounted rate that you can join from. So again, that was emailed to you. If you did not get it for some reason, maybe it went to your junk or something, you can just email support and Jen or Robin will get you that discounted link. Stacy said, I used to belong to Tribe and have been wanting to rejoin. Can I do that and then join this program? Stacy, yes, Tribe is technically closed right now. But if you want to become a Tribe sister again, you can email support and they will be able to help you with that. Arlene said, if I join this masterclass, is the class going to be ours to keep forever? Yes, it is. So yes, you will get lifetime access to the course, and not only what it is right now, but what is coming. So when you purchase this, you'll see in your library, we've kind of added, like I'm adding some new things to module 2 that are not there yet, and it'll say coming soon. So again, as I come up with new things that I want to add, we'll put in some coming soon labels next to those and kind of give you a preview of what is to come. Tracy said, how long is each module? So each one, the module is the big, like, here's the subject matter. And then within that module, there are multiple lessons. And then within those lessons, there are multiple sessions. So I'm going to pull up a quick preview of what that looks like, just so like you guys can understand how this works exactly. All right, we're going to switch over here, get you pulled up on the screen. Okay, I'm going to pull your question down, but Tracy was asking how long is each module? So this is just to kind of give you an overview of what it looks like. When you join and you go to the product in your library, this is what it'll look like. I just recorded a new welcome to the studio. That's going to give you a course overview. And then you're going to see module 1. I have another introduction there of what you can expect. So this is kind of what your library will look like. Module 1, lesson 1, finding inspiration. Within that lesson, you now have 9 different sessions. Okay, so let's just click on one of these just to look at the time frame on it. Each one is going to be a little bit different. So this one, 2 minutes and 46 seconds. This one, 10 minutes, 42 seconds. So each one, they're all going to be different, but they're broken into very specific nuggets that I'm trying to teach you. And the reason I've done it this way is because, number one, I don't want there to be overwhelm. Okay. And when you throw too many things out at our brain at one time, it can't remember all of it. So breaking it down into these mini sessions is a way for you to take things literally step by step and not feel like you have to do, 20 things at once. Lesson 2 is getting organized. I'm literally showing you how to organize your ideas. Lesson 3, I've added a lot of new sessions to this. So if you are an alumni member watching, there is new information for you that was not there in previous years. A lot of things that I was like, oh, why don't I have that in there? That'd be so good for them to have. So I went back and I was telling Megan, I'm like, I just keep coming up with ideas. I want to go back and add. So as I come up with these ideas and as I come up with things that I think will help you, they will be added to these sessions. So a lot of this, creating from a composition, you're going to get access to all this. We're going to talk about supplies. We're going to talk about mindset. And then we really get into the nitty gritty. This is going to art school. But again, you are going to learn each one of these things step by step. And there is no rush for you to get through this. So I really just want to emphasize that, because a lot of people, when you see how much is there, that can feel overwhelming. And I don't want it to be for you, because once you join, you have access to it for as long as you want, right? Like, you can go back to it. You can. Now, my recommendation, when I have done online courses like this before, that's how I learned how to run a membership. That's how I learned to run my business online, is through online coaching from several different coaches. I would carve out time each week that was committed to me learning what specifically I was learning at that time. So that's my recommendation for you, is to carve out time that is going to be devoted to you learning this. But that is going to be different for everyone. Some people may have an hour a week. Some people may have 10 hours a week. It's literally going to be different for everyone. So just keep that in mind. Tracy, I think you saw that I already answered this, but yes, you have continued access to lifetime access to the lessons. Tracy said, do we pay again for the second year? You do not. So we are no longer doing like yearly entry into it. It is now just going to run. And everyone that joins the Masterclass will join this group of Masterclass students. Christina said, how long is alumni price available? Yes. So same thing. August 9th is the deadline for all the pricing that is current right now. And then it will bump up on the 10th. Arlene says, is this class on a timeline to finish? Okay. So answered that question for you. You can do it at your own pace. No worries. Tracy said, so we post and ask questions in the group and one of you will answer any live Zooms or one-on-one sessions. So no one-on-one sessions. Lord have mercy. I would never be able, I can barely keep up with what I'm doing now. So no one-on-one sessions. But yes, you will be able to post in the group daily if you want to. And yeah, there are going to be the 6 of us who are there, myself, Megan, and your 4 mentors who are going to be there to help guide you and answer your questions. So you definitely will have plenty of support. GA said, so this class is really for people who've been painting a while. Not at all. So I don't know if you jumped on after Lori's story, but Lori did not have previous painting experience. You do not need that. I'm literally taking you to art school with me. So you can start whether you have experience or not, and you're going to learn a ton of valuable information. And then in addition to the modules that you're getting those bonus lessons. So if it makes you feel more comfortable to start with one of the bonus lessons that you're getting access to, where you're copying one of my tutorials, that's a great place to start before you dive into the modules. So we have that there for you. The basics in acrylics is given to you. Mastering the color wheel. Those are all super, very beginner friendly lessons that you can do before you start your modules. And those are given to you with the course. Okay. Okay, Nita said, this is my first experience seeing you. Welcome, Nita. Is there a place I can experience a beginner class to see if this is for me? So yes, we have, I believe, is it still up on the website? We have a free poppies class, so you can take that. You can also, Nita, my suggestion honestly would be to go to my YouTube channel. I'm the social easel everywhere. So that's my handle on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all the things. But I have an extensive YouTube channel. So if you are unsure of, how I teach or what I teach, you can definitely go hop over to YouTube, and there's going to be plenty there for you to, look at and see. Okay. So Sandra, yeah, as I said, like this is the course. So we will just continually add to this course. I won't be creating a new course or a new group of students. This is it. And then everything will be added to it. So yeah, the modules are not separate. It all just is one complete thing. It goes into the course together. Sandy, yes, there is a specific link for Tribe Sisters. So again, that was emailed to you. So you have an email if you're getting your Tribe Sister emails. That was emailed out to you on Friday, and I think there was another one sent again today. And then it's also in our Tribe Sister Facebook group pinned in the featured section. Tracy said, in your emails, you said you could say who this is not for. I am on the fence. So the only thing that would make it not for you is if you do not want to create originals, if you have no desire to learn how to create your own and you just want to follow tutorials, that is perfectly fine. That is why I built my business the way that I did. Painting of the Month Club. Perfect. One painting a month given to someone, great for beginners. You're not committed to anything. You get one painting. It's a couple hours a month. That's it, right? Easy peasy. Tribe is my membership. That's where you're still learning tutorials with me, but you get access to everything that I've taught in the last 6 years online. You get a community. You're learning new paintings every month. You're learning techniques, but you are not learning how to create your own original art in Tribe. That's not the purpose of Tribe. The purpose of the masterclass is to teach you how to do your originals. So my question to you, Tracy, would be, do you want to create your own originals? And are you willing to learn the steps to do that? So obviously there is a time commitment involved in this, no deadline, but it's really meant for someone who wants to do that deep dive in, because it's extensive, right? Like I say, like it's like you're immersing yourself in the world of art. So it's nothing to do with talent level, nothing to do with skill or experience level. Those things are not factors. The only factor is whether you want to do the work and whether you are interested in learning how to create originals. If the answer to both of those questions is yes, then it is for you. If the answer to those are not, then I would say it is not for you at this time, and maybe it will be in the future. So I hope that answers that question. Let me make sure I don't have any other ones. Let me go back up to my, for some reason, my starred ones went away. Okay. I don't want to ruin your name when I try to pronounce it. So she said, can we please see what you will be painting in Tribe Sisters in the future, please? So actually, no, because I don't plan out what I'm doing in Tribe. Like I don't plan out the next 6 months. That's not the type of artist I am at all. So I'm very much like what I'm in the mood for and what I feel drawn to is what I create. And I do not plan super far ahead like that. So you have access. This is separate from Masterclass, just so this is not confusing anyone else. We're not talking about Tribe right now, but she's asking a question about Tribe. You have access to over 200 tutorials inside of Tribe, and then I teach 2 new ones each month. But I don't have like a whole calendar of like what you'll learn, specifically what those paintings are going to be each month. Sandra, so again, there is no timeline on like when I'm adding these things. Like as I have time and add them into them, it will be a continual thing. It's a growing library. So think of it that way. Okay. It's just a growing library. There's not like, you know, on January 1st, 2027, I'm adding new things. As I literally in my life as an artist, as a teacher, come up with things that I think will be beneficial to my students in the masterclass and help them on their journey, then I will add those modules to, or those lessons to the modules. Okay. Hopefully that clarifies that for you. Mary said, are you physically teaching the modules? It is me in every video. Is that what you're asking? Yes, I am teaching the entire course. They are all recorded lessons from me. There is no live element to this. These are all recorded so that you can go through them at your own pace whenever you want to. So Tribe is not open right now. What is open right now is the masterclass. So Tribe will open again to new students in the fall. So you guys can get on the wait list for that. You can email support if you are just really wanting to join right now. We'll make an exception, but doors are not open for Tribe until the fall when we do. We usually do like a big creative week together and we welcome new members in. So we do that a couple times a year for the Tribe class, Jackie. Yeah, and I think I just answered your question. She said, are the classes recorded or live? So I'm going to show you the screen again really quick. Just so you guys can see this. This is what you get access to. So this is how it is set up. This will be in your member library. Anytime you're ready to learn, you can come click and go through your lessons. That was module 3, module 4. And I'm purposely going through this fast because it's a lot of information. But each one of these is broken down into separate lessons and sessions, and you have access to all of it when you become a masterclass member. Okay. Yes, you got it, Sandra. Growing library. That's the best way I can say it. Tribe Sisters have a special discount just for them. So again, if you are a Tribe Sister, go to the Tribe Sister Facebook group or go to your email. YouTube is public. Yes, anyone can go to my YouTube channel and there are tons of videos there for you to get to learn more about me and my style and lessons and all kinds of stuff. Okay, M said, when you take a college class, each credit equals 3 hours of study per week. How does that compare to the master class? So actually, M, I don't know if you went to art school or not, but not the school that I went to. You get credit for 3 hours of study per week. You are definitely working more than 3 hours a week for each class when you are in art school. So it's not really comparable to that. Again, the difference with this is than going to a real art school. In art school, you are learning each class is one subject for a semester. Okay. So that's what, like 16 weeks roughly. So for 16 weeks, you're focused on one specific thing in that class. And it is more than 3 hours a week that you're pouring into that class. So the master class is I'm taking all that knowledge. I'm taking everything that I learned in all of my years, which combined, by the way, I should have a college degree for the amount of years of college classes that I took. But because it was broken up and because I went for graphic design instead of just art, that's why I don't have a degree. So yeah, I'm taking all of that knowledge, condensing it down into a self-paced way for you to learn. So hopefully that makes sense. You decide how much time you're spending on it each week. And, the amount of time you spend will determine, how much you're learning or progressing but I really want people to not focus on, don't give yourself a deadline or a timeline. Art and becoming an artist and growing as an artist is a fluid process. There is no end to it. I would be sad if there was an end to it. If someone told me I'm never learning anything else, that would make me sad. So I think continue to learn. Christy said, I'm sorry, but I just got on. Can we as Tribe Sisters join the masterclass at any time? So yes, you can, because of the way that but with a price increase, because of the way that we are structuring the masterclass now. You get the introductory price that you have as a Tribe Sister, and that price will go up on the 10th. So August 10th, each price, Tribe Sisters have a price, Public has a price, Alumni has a price. All of those prices will go up on August 10th. So right now, your deadline is not that you won't be able to join in the future. You will always be able to join whenever you want to. But if you want to lock in the lowest rate possible, you want to do that before August 9th. And by the way, when I didn't talk about this, but it's $897. So I'm going to throw this up really quick. Again, this is the public price. It's $897 right now. So you can lock that rate in now. It goes up to $997 on August 10th. But we do have the ability for you to break those payments down. So if you can't do that full payment, that's fine. You can do, I think we have set up for 3 monthly payments. And then if 3 monthly payments is still out of your budget, when you select the full price, you'll see, I wonder if I can actually pull that up here. Hang on one second. I'll show it to you guys. You can select Afterpay, and it allows you to, it's not going to, no, maybe it will. I just wanted to be able to show you what it looked like. Okay, so I don't think it's going to let me show you, but basically when you select the full price and then you go down to payments, there's a green button that says Afterpay. And when you select that green button, it says I think it's different for everyone, but it tells you what you can break those payments down into. So it will give you installments of that price. Okay. Thank you, Em. I appreciate that. Em, and just for you guys to know, she said your blog is very good also. I only threw that up there to let you guys know that, yes, I do have a blog. So if you go to thesocialeasel.com and click on blog, years of blogs and information for you as well. Jackie said, will the masterclass be available after Tribe opens in the fall? So yes, again, the masterclass will now always be available. So the only difference is we're not closing doors to accepting new students in, just the price increases. So it's only $8.97 for the first 2 weeks that we're opening it. Okay. All right. Any other questions? We just passed 2 hours. So if you guys are still on here, thanks for still being on here with me. But I wanted to be as thorough as possible, answer as many questions as I could for you guys, and obviously share some stories of the women who have gone through this with me, because I think it's almost more important for you to hear from them than it is for you to hear from me. Because I can tell you all day long how good I think this is going to be for you, but it's better for you to hear it from the women who have actually gone through it. So I appreciate y'all being here with me. Again, links in your emails. If you ever need anything, I'm going to throw this up too. Just know the best way to get a hold of us is to always email in. So a lot of times people will comment on Facebook posts or send a Facebook message. By the way, none of us as a team, myself, anyone on my team, none of us accept personal messages from any students. We keep our personal, right? So all questions regarding the social easel or any offer, class, workshop, anything that I'm offering, always email Christy@thesocialeasel.com, and then we get back to you within 24 hours. So we have a great customer support team who is there to answer your questions and give you any guidance that you need. All right. So excited for this year and what is to come. And if you have joined, if you are joining, let me know in the comments. Let's celebrate. And I look forward to seeing you guys inside our Facebook group. And we will be sharing more throughout the next couple of weeks until that price increase, and answering more questions for you guys if you have any. Miss Pauline is in. Miss Bonnie is in. Love it, ladies. Let's see. Okay. Oh, I keep clicking on the wrong thing and it's driving me crazy. Yay, another Bonnie. We got 2 Bonnies in. Deb is in. So I'm looking so forward to seeing you guys on this journey. And also when you go to that page, you got to hear a couple stories tonight from these ladies, but there are more on that page. You're going to get to hear a little bit from Pauline. We have Cheryl's video on there. So you're going to get to also, you can scroll and hear their stories. You're going to get to see pictures of the ladies with the originals that they've made over the last 2 years. So it's super exciting. Awesome. Hey, Miss Karina, glad to see you in. And our other Bonnie here. Okay. I do not do any live Facebook painting anymore. So I no longer jump on. This hat is driving me crazy. I always twist it the wrong way. Someone was asking when my next Facebook page painting is. So anything that you want as far as lessons that I've done, you want to go to YouTube for that, because I'm not regularly doing Facebook Lives and teaching in that way any longer. Sandra, yes, there is a replay to this. It will be, sorry, Rebecca, that was the same. It moved on me as I clicked it. Sandra was asking if there's a replay to this. Yes, there is. As soon as I end this, the same link that brought you here will take you to the replay. All right. Thank you guys so much. And I will talk to you soon. Okay. Follow me for more. Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. I'm going to be on all the things. And you can stay up to date on what is going on with the Social Easel. All right. Bye.